Hi everyone, my name is Julian, you can call me Gio, and welcome back to another video. If you've kept up with my last two uploads, then you can already tell that this was not an episode 2 for the Artist Way vlog series that I've been doing, and that's just because due to extenuating circumstances, that episode is not coming along the way that I wanted to, so I'm postponing it. I'm still working on it. But I knew that for the week there could not be no YouTube video upload, so I wanted to do this. And this channel used to be very big on talking head style videos, commentaries, things of that nature. And while I did get tired of that when I was doing it, I had this idea in my mind and it hasn't slipped ever since. So I wanted to sit down today and talk to you about my 2026 low buy slash project pan. That was a lot of information in a short period of time, but the terms project pan, low buy, no buy, under consumption core are not terms that are new to the sphere of the internet. But I feel like in the past year, especially on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, these terms have picked up a lot of steam, as I feel like there's a growing movement that's trying to move away from mindless consumerism, that's trying to be more intentional with where they spend their money, etc., etc. And while I am a very cynical person and my first instinct would be to be like, oh, this is just a trend, this is just a fad, we're going to go back to the same bullshit in a few months, that's probably a very bad faith stance to take on this, because even if it is a trend, someone out there, many people out there, are auditing their financial spending, they're auditing where they consume their money, and they're auditing whether or not they're happy with the way that they consume and the way that they go about, I guess the term that I'm trying to look for is how they go about communicating and experiencing the world. And I think that that is a net positive in a whole. And it's something that I guess subconsciously has also been working on me. And I've been auditing my own consumption habits. And that's what I'm here to tell you today. And just to keep the context going before we get into the meat and potatoes of this video, I want to tell the story of how when I was about 14 or 15 years old, I saw the documentary The True Cost, because I started getting into zero waste YouTubers. If any of you watch Showbizzle, basically she's the one that recommended me that documentary through her YouTube videos. I watched it and yeah, I became an activist down. But I watched that documentary, and from that point forward, I started buying bamboo toothbrushes. I started buying not necessarily metal cutlery, but I started doing zero waste swaps. I started buying almost exclusively from the thrift store. I stopped buying from companies like Amazon. It was very easy back then because obviously when you're 14, 15, you don't have a job, you don't have much money. You're going to end up shopping at the thrift store anyway for clothes, because you can't go to the mall and spend $20 because you don't have $20. And so I was very big on zero waste and all of these things. But as time went on, I realized that I cannot stick to the ideals that I was sticking onto myself completely perfectly. And I know that for a lot of people that builds a lot of shame, that, oh my God, I have to shop at Amazon because that's the only way, or you have to shop at a grocery store or a hardware store or any type of store. You need to give your money to a place that maybe doesn't necessarily align with your values or the things that you're trying to make better in the world. And I just want to tell you that not being perfect is okay. It's very, very hard and very, very expensive to be the perfect activist, to be the perfect minimalist, to be the perfect under consumer, normal consumer, whatever the word or the thing that you're trying to achieve. It's very hard to do any of those things perfectly. But I think the most important part is that you try, right? The same way that I tried at 14, 15, and I feel like I made my own impact, even though I feel like I've lost sight of that, and that's not necessarily a good thing. I do want to get back, and that's also why I'm making this video. But I want you, my beautiful, beautiful viewer, to know that if you are trying and you're doing your best and you're making a little bit of progress every day, if everybody in the world were to make a little bit of progress every single day, we would move forward by leaps and bounds. And I feel like a lot of us are sort of being made to feel like, oh, there's nothing that I can do. There's nothing that I can do. Like everything's just a conglomerate. Everything's a monopoly, etc., etc., etc. But at the end of the day, these monopolies become monopolies because they have our dollars. They have our dollars. You vote with your dollar, politically, socially, etc., etc., etc. In a money-driven society, you vote with your dollar whether you like it or not. And knowing that, it seems a little bit like pessimistic or negative, but I want you to know that once you know that you vote with your dollar, you can vote it wherever you want. You can shop small, you can shop big, you can buy fast fashion, you can buy slow fashion, ethical, unethical. You really do choose exactly everything that you do. And that's not a way for me to try to guilt trip anybody who doesn't necessarily make the best choices with their money, because at the end of the day, the money's yours and I can't tell you to do anything. But the only thing that I can do for somebody else is just to keep them informed of the things that are going on, and hopefully they come to their own conclusions, because that's what we're all here for. So with that very long intro and that commentary out of the way, let's get into my low buy plans and my project fan for the year 2026. I have three main reasons as to why I want to start this low buy slash project pan. The first of those reasons being that I do want to be more intentional and vote with my dollars, as I just previously stated. It's crazy that at 14, 15, I dressed better and I had more steadfast beliefs than I do now. But the first step to solving a problem is admitting that there's a problem in the first place. That out of the way, I also want to save a little bit of money because I've noticed that I do buy a lot more consumer products. And I think in the year 2026, I want to focus more on hobbies, creative endeavors, and more so experiences more than anything. And number three, I have noticed that when I continue to buy things in the categories that I'm going to mention in the future, I have not used up or consumed everything else in that category before buying something new. So things just pile up. I have a lot of different backlogs, a lot of different things that need to be finished, used, etc., etc. And I'm kind of just tired and I want to be more intentional, save my money, and use up what I have. The first main category of my low buy is physical media, and mainly that pertains to books, movies, and video games. The category where I want to slow down my spending the absolute most is in the books category, just because I am able to find books for very cheaply. But because I'm able to find books for very cheaply, that means that I'm buying a lot of books at the same time, and I'm simply not reading them. To give you the numbers, last year I read a total of 8 novels, not including comics or graphic novels, just because those are very quick, easy read. But when I audited how many books I have and I cataloged everything, I have a total of 150 unread books, 98 of those being unread physical books and 52 of those being unread digital books. Very quickly, if I maintain the same rate of reading 8 novels a year for the next however many years, it would take me almost 19 years to finish every single book in my collection. And to me, that is just absolutely absurd. There should be no reason for me to have that many books but not be reading them. So what I decided for the year is that I am not going to be buying any new books with certain exceptions. The first major exception for that rule is that, let's say I'm reading a series and the book series has 5 books, but I'm on book 3, right? I finished book 3. I can only buy the next book in that series if the next book in that series is the one that I'm going to read directly after book 3. So I can't buy book 4 and leave it on my shelf because that's very counterproductive. But if I buy book 4 and read it instantly after, and then I want to read book 5 and I buy book 5, then we're all good. Another exception to this rule is that if I end up reading a book from the library, which I'm only going to be getting books that are not on my shelves already from the library, if I read a book from the library and it's a 5 out of 5 book, or it's a book that I feel like is going to stick with me, or a book that I know I'm going to want to revisit in the future, I'm going to go ahead and buy myself a copy of that book, but only a used copy, because at the end of the day, I'm still trying to save money. Finally, if there's a book I really want to read, but it's not available at the library, then I can go on my used book platforms, buy that book, and I have to read that book immediately after I get it. Otherwise, I cannot buy that book. Next up is movies. I do have a Letterboxd account where I do track all of the DVDs that I own. And according to my calculations, I own 123 DVDs. And normally that wouldn't be an issue because I know a lot of people are getting back into physical media and they're buying physical media that they know and love. But when I started collecting physical media, which was many years ago, I think I was in middle school and I've already graduated college. Just to give you a little bit of perspective, I was just buying any and every DVD that looked interesting. I do have a lot of DVDs behind me on my shelf that I have set out on a list, and if I watch them and don't like them, I have to get rid of them. But of those 123 DVDs, I've only seen 56% of them, so I still have over probably 40 DVDs in my house that I don't know if I like them, don't know if I'm going to watch them. It's probably going to be a little bit less because I do have mine and my grandma's DVD collection together because I buy most of them for her. But as with books, the only exception is that there's a movie series that I've seen or a movie that I've seen in theaters that's already come out, and the only way that I can buy myself a new DVD is if I've seen the movie before and I know that I love it. Otherwise, I can only watch movies from the library, from my collection, and my streaming services. For video games, I don't even know how many video games I have. Honestly, like, it's kind of gotten out of control how many video games I have. Again, I buy almost everything secondhand, used, etc., etc. But video games is probably the thing that I reach for the least, just because I haven't had time to play video games in the past couple of months. So I'm not buying any video games, and the same rule applies as for books. If I'm playing a series of video games and I know I want to beat the next game instantly after, then I can buy it, but I have to play that game and finish it. Otherwise, nothing. That's about it for the low buy section. Even though that section is pretty small, I feel like I'm pretty good at other aspects of my life of controlling my spending and being more intentional. But because physical media is so easy, cheap, and accessible to come across, it's just one of those things that got the best of me, and I spend more than I probably should on it. So for those reasons, I'm going to go low buy, and eventually, once I feel that I have all of my collections under control, then I will consider expanding, or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just be content with what I have. I don't know if I expanded on what Project Pan was when I mentioned it earlier, but even if I did, I'm going to reiterate that essentially Project Pan is an experiment that people on social media are doing because they realize that their makeup collections, skincare collections, etc., have gotten out of control, and they're not hitting pan on product, and they're not finishing product, and they're buying more product that they can finish up. So essentially Project Pan means that, for example, if you have 10 lipsticks, for example, you have to use up those 10 lipsticks before you buy another one. Or you have to do a one in, one out rule that, for example, I'm content using 10 lipsticks because I love using lipstick, but I need to finish one lipstick before I can get a new one. Now, my project pen is going to be a little bit interesting. Maybe the philosophy behind my project pen is going to be a little bit different because I love skincare. It's been one of those things that I've loved ever since I was 12. So I'm turning 22 in April. So it's going to be about 10 years since I've had my skincare routine that I've been trying out different products, etc., etc., etc. And that's something that's not going to stop. And that's why I said earlier, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to become a minimalist after doing this. You just have to be more intentional with what you buy. But I have noticed that recently, especially ever since you have a job, you make your own money. When you see something on social media, you go to Ulta, you go to Sephora, you go online, you go to whatever beauty supplier you like, you buy the product, and then they just pile up. And that's kind of where I am right now, even though I do use up a lot of my skincare products. But my main motivation for doing this project pen is that this past Christmas, and I'll probably include B-roll if this clip ends up not coming out very good, but my dad got me this special set of a luxury Korean skincare set. This is the History of Woo. And I noticed that I had a lot more skincare to get through before I could use this set. But as we all know, skincare, beauty products, they expire. I don't want myself to expire because I spend my hard-earned money on them. So that's why I'm doing my project pan. I want to use up pretty much everything. And again, I'm trying to be more intentional, save more money. So let's get into it. I'm going to show you B-roll for every single product that I'm mentioning except my fragrances, just because there's a lot of those, spoiler alert. But I'm going to go in order of appearance. So I'm going to go from everything that I have one of, that essentially once I use it, I can go out and buy another one, and everything that I have multiples of. And we're going to end it off by showing you from the things that I have multiples of, what I want to finish first. So I have one shampoo, one conditioner, one styling product, one hair mask, one body butter, one eye cream, one pack of gel eye patches, and one sunscreen. Moving on, I have two cleansers, two exfoliants, two foot masks, two toners, two moisturizers, two serums, three body creams, three lip oils, three hand creams, four body washes, 13 face masks, and to end it all off, I have 23 fragrances, which is a lot of fragrances. I don't use fragrances that much because some days I just feel like smelling very neutral, smelling like nothing, not smelling bad. We don't smell bad around here. But I have 23 fragrances, which means that I have my work cut out for me. But for the products that I have multiples of, I just want to share you the things that I'm prioritizing finishing first. I have two cleansers, but the one I want to finish first is the Softimo Cleansing Wash Hyaluronic Acid. This is very foaming, very light, but very good. I have two toners that I use simultaneously, one that I use in the morning just to really calm my skin, and one I use at night for its healing properties. So I use the Naturier Skin Conditioner Spray. I have the big one, but I always decant it into this little spray bottle. And I also have the Medicube PDRN Pink Niacinamide Milky Toner. This is excellent. I have two moisturizers, but the moisturizer that I'm using mainly right now is the Dr. Althea 345 Relief Cream. I saw this at the end cap at Ulta and I got influenced despite having a moisturizer at home, but honestly this is working so much better than that one that I might have to switch to this once I finish. For fragrances, I have three fragrances in my medicine cabinet that I lean towards every day when I go to work, etc., etc., when I have just a general outing. Those three are Joseph Abboud Bespoke, which is about halfway done. I love this one despite it being only $17. Very good. I have Guerlain L'Homme Ideal. When I first got this for my birthday last year, I was using it every single day, but there were some occasions where I feel it didn't really fit, so I did stop using it, but there's a very big dent in here. And then one that I don't really like, but I got it very cheap and it's almost done, so I might as well just finish using it, is English Laundry by Christopher Wicks Signature. I got this on an end cap at TJ Maxx for $3.99, so I can't really complain about the price, but why did I buy it if I didn't really like it like that? We're back once again for the infamous Chamber of Reflection, this time not because I didn't know how to end the video, but because the video ended me. Essentially, I'm using a new camera. I've never used this camera before, but apparently my video was just over 30 minutes, but mine times out at 29 minutes and 27 seconds. So I lost like those final little pieces. And honestly, instead of just piecing it together and doing a little shitty intro, I thought might as well do the outro myself. But one of the last points that I wanted to touch upon in terms of low buy underconsumption, Project Pan, etc., is that doing a project like this or an experiment like this also comes with recognizing the insane amount of privilege that somebody has to have to, number one, have enough disposable income to be able to buy all of these things and hoard them essentially. Number two, the access to said things, because there are so many people in so many countries that they have the cash, they have the things, but these products are just not as easily accessible. So I guess this is also an exercise in gratitude, but also in recognizing privilege. And even though it may seem like, oh, like look at all these people, they have to do a Project Pan because they have so much, oh, we should feel bad for them. I don't need anybody to feel bad for me. You should not feel bad for anybody else. If anything, it is a net positive because it's making everybody realize there are so many people around the world that would, I don't want to say kill, but would do a lot of things and able to access skincare products, healthcare products, technology, electronics, consumer, whatever the case may be. Somebody out there in the world does not have the funds or the means to be able to access these type of things. So it's also an exercise in recognizing your privilege, and when you consume only what you need to consume, and obviously there's still room to consume things that maybe are not necessary things. At the end of the day, we're all human, we all like to treat ourselves, we all like these things, but in completing these exercises and being more intentional, we're also taking care of everybody else around the world. We're all global citizens. The things that we have in our shops and the things that come to our doorsteps when we order something online do not come out of nowhere. Those resources need to be extracted from somewhere. Somebody somewhere in the world is working on our products. And unfortunately, sometimes the conditions that they do these things under are not the best for the people who are creating these products and for all of us as a whole, because once again, we're all global citizens. And when we do unethical things and when we use shady means of manufacturing raw materials, it affects everybody, whether in a privileged position or in a not so privileged position. The only thing is that the people that are not privileged enough to be able to not feel these things at first are the ones that are at a disadvantage. And checking your privilege and doing your best to treat everybody as equally as possible is very important. Anyways, I feel I've talked for long enough. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave me a like. If you want to see more videos from me, I'm going to be doing a lot of different styles of content, and maybe I'll come back to commentary YouTube. You never know. Please be sure to subscribe. If you'd like to see more updates of Project Pan or similar things, similar discussions of this nature, please let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you all in the next video next week. I'll see you very soon. Bye.